Toss-up 1. The investigation of this scandal was led by Thomas Walsh. This scandal included Edward Doheny gaining rights to Elk Hills. Secretary of the Interior Albert Fall was imprisoned after, for 10 points, what Harding administration scandal in which Fall, go ahead.
Keep up, understanding?
That is correct, 10. In the disease bullous pemphigoid, blisters form between this layer of skin and the one beneath it. For 10 points each, name this outermost layer of the human skin.
Epidermis?
Correct. Epidermis is made up mostly of these cells that become cornified as they move towards the surface of the skin.
Yeah, answer.
Bounce.
Skin cells.
It's keratinocytes. Because this vitamin affects keratinocyte proliferation, a deficiency of it causes very dark skin. A deficiency also causes night blindness. Answer, please.
No answer.
Bounce. D. Vitamin A. So tell me. Toss-up 2. This system of classification was independently devised by Jan Jansky and Carl Landsteiner. Its designations may be accompanied by plus or minus, denoting the rhesus factor. For 10 points, name this classification. Go ahead.
Blood type.
That is correct for 10. Bonus. Samuel Phillips and Albion Turget represented the plaintiff in this 1896 Supreme Court case. For 10 points each, name this case which prompted Justice John Marshall Harlan to write in his dissent that our Constitution is colorblind. Answer, please.
And is it Parker? London versus Virginia?
Bounce.
Plessy versus Ferguson?
Correct. The Plessy decision affirmed the legality of segregation through this three-word doctrine, whose manifestations included different water fountains for whites and blacks.
Separate but equal.
Correct. Separate but equal was often implemented through this type of law, named for a character in minstrel shows.
Jim Crow.
Correct. 20 on the bonus, 10 on the steal. Toss-up 3. This kingdom introduced a calendar that counted dates back from 3 monthly fixed points, including the nones and the kalends. Its calendar had an extra month inserted in leap years by the Pontifex Maximus. For 10 points, name the civilization whose first calendar was Christian. Go ahead.
Roman.
That's correct. For 10. The Cassaquier Canal connects this river to the Orinoco River. For 10 points each, identify this river, whose name translates as Black River. It flows past the city of Manaus.
No answer.
Bounce.
Defer. Negro River?
Yeah, Rio Negro, or Negro. Good. The Rio Negro is the largest left tributary of this longest river in South America.
The Parana.
Bounce.
Amazon.
Correct. During the
The
19th
second one.
Wait.
Did you say second one?
He said first.
Oh, you said first one. Oh,
Yeah. During the 19th century, Manaus was a large exporter of this product, which is processed from the latex of certain trees.
Paper.
Bounce.
Rubber.
Correct. 30 on the steal.
Gosh, I thought you said second.
So good.
Are they gone?
Yeah.
Toss-up 4. This law can be derived from kinetic molecular theory by assuming each molecule is a single point that only undergoes perfectly elastic collisions. A more accurate version of this law is the van der Waals equation. For 10 points, name this chemistry law usually written as PV equals nRT. Go ahead.
Second law of thermodynamics?
Incorrect. Go ahead.
Law of entropy.
Incorrect. It's the ideal gas law. Toss-up 5. Before the 2015 season, this baseball team fired manager Bo Porter and hired A.J. Hinch. After this team traded for Mike Fiers, Fiers no-hit the Dodgers. Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, and Dallas Keuchel play on for 10 points. What Texas team that switched? Go ahead.
Astros?
That's correct for 10. A Coast Guard hopes that the all-powerful Father will have mercy on travelers in the text of this Old English poem, which is found in the Noel Codex. For 10 points each, name this poem whose title character becomes king of the Geats. Answer, please. Mouse.
I know answer.
Beowulf. Beowulf is made king after he kills the unnamed mother of this monster.
Grendel.
Correct. Grendel and his mother attack the mead hall of this king of the Danes.
Rothgar?
Yes, correct. 20 on the bonus. And did you guys get Beowulf?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So that's 20. Toss-up 6. This title was received in 1879 by John Henry Newman, who broke with the Anglican Church in the 1840s. In 1515, this title was given to the Archbishop of York, Thomas Wolsey, who was an advisor to King Henry VIII. For 10 points, give this Catholic position whose holders elect the Pope. Go ahead.
Cardinal?
Correct. For 10. Charles Rosen's book, The Classical Style, calls this symphony's fourth movement a symphony within a symphony. For 10 points each, name this symphony by Ludwig van Beethoven, whose fourth movement sets to music Friedrich Schiller's Ode to Joy.
Symphony number 9.
That is correct. By the time Beethoven completed his Ninth Symphony, he had almost entirely lost his sense.
Hearing.
Correct. Beethoven's Sixth Symphony is often given this nickname, in part because it depicts birdsong and a thunderstorm. Answer, please.
I didn't say go.
Bounce.
No.
Pastoral. So 20 on the books. Toss-up 7. This author wished that he could once more climb back branches of a snow-white trunk in the poem Birches. Another. Go ahead.
Frost.
Tower. The singer got into a Twitter feud with Nicki Minaj regarding the 2015 VMA nominations. For 10 points each.
It's
Name this artist whose song Bad Blood, a collaboration with Kendrick Lamar, was nominated for a Video of the Year award.
Taylor Swift.
Correct. Bad Blood appears on this latest Taylor Swift album, which also includes the singles Blank Space and Shake It Off.
1984.
Bounce.
1989.
Correct. This other singer portrays Destructa X in the music video for Bad Blood. Her most recent album, Halcyon, features her song Anything Could Happen.
Katy Perry.
Bounce.
Miley Cyrus.
Ellie Gold. So 10 on the bonus, 10 on the skew. Toss-up 8. In December 2012, this nation became the first to withdraw from the Kyoto Protocol. Its Liberal Party is led by Justin Trudeau, the son of Pierre Trudeau. Stephen Harper was the Prime Minister of, for 10 points, what nation that saw 2014 shootings at Parliament Hill in Ottawa? Go ahead.
Canada.
That is correct. For 10 points. In Karel Čapek's play Rur, or R-U-R, one of these beings named Radius announces the era of man has come to its end. For 10 points each, identify these beings whose name was coined by Čapek's brother Joseph.
No answer.
Bounce.
No answer.
Robot. The word word robot derives from a term in this language meaning coerced work. Milan Kundera's novel, The Unbearable Lightness of Being, which depicts the Prague Spring, was written in this language.
Russian.
Bounce.
Yiddish.
Schenk. In the introduction to his book, The Rest of the Robots, this science fiction author contrasted Capek's tale of a robot uprising with his own stories, which portrayed robots as well-designed machines governed by 3 laws.
Wells.
Bounce.
Philip Dick.
Asimov. So 0 on this. Toss-up 9. A discourse on these phenomena by Galileo mistakenly claims that they are caused by Earth's revolution. A zero-amplitude amphidromic point in the waves that lead to these phenomena is found near Hawaii. The sun and the moon, for 10 points, cause... Go ahead.
Tides.
That's correct. For 10. That was a couple words, yeah, that was like 3. For 10 points each, answer these questions about gases. Helium and neon are the first 2 members of what group of mostly inert gases which occupy the rightmost column of the periodic table?
Noble gas.
Correct. Noble gases are mostly inert because what subatomic particles completely fill their orbitals?
Electron.
Correct. Which noble gas accounts for approximately 1% of the mass of dry air and is used in dry boxes?
No answer.
Bounce.
Argon.
That is correct. 20 on the bonus, 10 on the speed. Toss-up 10. An alter ego of this author named Doluaz stays at a coastal California cabin in the novel Big Sur. This author depicted his friend Neil Cassidy as the goof Dean Moriarty in a novel that fictionalized his youthful travels. For 10 points, the name is Beat Generation. Go ahead.
Kerouac.
Correct, for 10. The art of this activity is described in Isaac Walton's 17th century book, The Complete Angler. For 10 points each, name this activity, which is often carried out with lures and hooks.
Fishing. Yeah, fishing.
Correct. This recurring character in the short stories of Ernest Hemingway goes fishing in Big Two-Hearted River. He gets tied up at a lunchroom in The Killers. Answer, please.
No answer.
Bounce.
I disagree. Tiago.
Correct. It's Nick Adams. The opera The Pearl Fishers was written by this composer, who is better known for Carmen.
Strauss.
Bounce.
Is that it?
Correct. 10 on the bonus, 10 on the speed. So before the worksheet I have 150 for Glasgow, 125 for Grayson. Are we good? Yeah.
Oh, so myself, he said.
Second one. Harvard.
There you go.
Harvard. That's like me with the World War II.
No one cares.
Like how? No one cares if I World War II question.
All right, remember to write your name on the one that I'm turning in. You guys have 2 minutes.
Wait.
Okay, ready, go. 30 seconds.
Just a minute.
Time's up.
I changed it. It's okay, I was on like the third letter of the word when you said time. It was on the final. So it wasn't like I was writing one of those words.
So Amy, we're gonna let Cecily go in. Please have.
The letter with D and all of the questions, I think
Start with these, start with. Start with these.
So I have Glasgow getting 160 and Grayson getting 140. The last one was a joke, because, you know.
So that's, oh yeah, there's a template one, so that.
yeah.
Would you reach me that?
You had to get 160. You could have gotten extra to 35. First, that was like 5.
First on me.
Blink out.
Usually do it because I start the vote. Toss up.
So, do you have 265 to 310?
Yes.
Okay.
Toss-up 11. Triangulation Hill was a site of one of this war's battles won by Douglas MacArthur's UN coalition. Its battle of the Busan perimeter preceded an attack on Incheon that crippled Kim Il-sung's forces. A DMZ was set at the 38th parallel at the end of, for 10 points. What age was it? Go ahead. That is correct for 10. This man kills Patroclus and dons his armor, which Patroclus had borrowed from Achilles for 10 points each. Name this Trojan prince who is later killed by Achilles and dragged around the walls of Troy.
Yeah, Hector.
Correct. This brother of Hector later avenges him by shooting Achilles in the heel. Correct. After losing his first suit of armor to Hector, Achilles receives a second suit created by this god. Ares. Bounce.
The first, Athena?
It's Hephaestus. So, 20 on the beach.
He was so mad. He was so mad, he just created pure mad.
Also 12. A murder victim named Susie Salmon narrates a novel by Alice Sebold, whose title refers to lovely types of bees. To trick Zeus, Prometheus hid these objects under fat, which is why they were sacrificed in Greece. Osteoporosis weakens for 10 points. Go ahead.
Bones.
Correct. For 10. At the end of this novel, Levin realizes how much he loves his wife Kitty and their son for 10 points each. Name this novel whose title character is ostracized by a Russian society after she leaves her husband.
And Quiet Place.
Bounce.
Anna Karenina.
Correct. Anna Karenina was written by this author who described the Crimean War siege in Sevastopol's sketches.
Tolstoy.
Correct. Anna leaves her husband for this count, who is one of the fine specimens of the gilded youth of Petersburg.
Bronzy.
Correct. So, 10 on the steel, 20 on the books. Toss-up 13. This phenomenon occurs at critical points of the potential energy function with local maxima corresponding to its unstable form. When this condition holds for an object at rest, the object is said to exhibit its static form. For 10 points, go ahead.
Friction.
Incorrect. For 10 points, go ahead.
Equilibrium.
Correct for 10. The second most populous city in this state is Fort Smith, which is on this state's border with Oklahoma. For 10 points each, name the state whose other cities include Jonesboro and Bentonville.
Lyle.
Answer please.
Missouri.
Bounce.
Nebraska.
Arkansas.
Oh my
There's so many state names just going out there.
Everyone was saying a state name.
Every time.
Maine.
I was waiting for Washington.
Bill Clinton's presidential library is in this capital of Arkansas.
Yeah, Little Rock.
Correct. This is third most populous city in the state, is home to the University of Arkansas. Answer please.
No.
No answer. All right, bounce.
Smithsburg.
Fayetteville. Or Fayetteville. So, is that 10 on 10? All right. Toss-up 14. Oil production in this nation is centered in its northern unity state. It is currently experiencing internal fighting between its Noer and Dinka ethnic groups. Juba is the capital of. For 10 points, what impoverished African nation that gained independence in 2011? Go ahead.
South Sudan.
Correct for 10. Pencil and paper ready. Kendra is holding a hand of 8 cards randomly dealt from a standard 52-card deck. For 10 points each, if aces and then face cards are considered high, what is the lowest possible rank of the highest ranked card in her hand?
Pass.
Bounce?
Jack.
3. If Kendra has 6 cards, or 6 hearts among her cards, what is the probability that a card randomly picked from anywhere other than her hand will also be a heart?
Pass.
Bounce?
7/46.
Correct, it's 7/44. If Kendra has 2 jacks in her hand, what is the probability that an opponent randomly and simultaneously stealing of her 2 cards will end up taking both jacks? You have 10 seconds. Bounce, you also have 10 seconds. We still have 10 seconds.
Seven over 21.
Incorrect, it's 1/28. So, 0. Toss-up 15. After this ruler won the Battle of Mollwitz in the War of Austrian Succession, he took Silesia from Maria Theresa. The first partition of Poland allowed him to connect Brandenburg to the rest of his lands in Prussia. For 10 points, name this great 18th century king of Prussia. Go ahead.
Otto von Bismarck.
Incorrect. Go ahead.
Nicholas II.
Incorrect. It's Frederick the Great. Toss-up 16. Physicist Richard Taylor claimed that this man's paintings contained hidden fractals. This artist of Blue Poles and Full Fathom 5, and husband of painter Lee Krasner, was a pioneering action painter. For 10 points, name this abstract impressionist. Go ahead. Correct for 10. This religion's form of ritual dance called kagura inspired the graceful movements of note. For 10 points each, name this religion whose deities are called kami.
Shinto.
Correct. Shintoism is an animistic religion that originated in this Asian nation.
Japan.
Correct. A torii is a traditional one of these structures at a Shinto shrine.
Pillar.
Bounce.
Column.
Incorrect. It's a gate.
Oh.
So 20 on bonus. Toss-up 17. This organization's president, Cecile Richards, testified before Congress in a September 2015 hearing. Richards was responding to charges that this organization had been selling fetal tissue. Go ahead.
Project Parenthood.
Incorrect. For 10 points, name this one. Go ahead.
Planned Parenthood.
Yes. For 10. Your bonus. That was not. These substances are typically solid at room temperature and are composed of triglycerides. For 10 points each, name these substances which in nutrition may be saturated or unsaturated.
That's fat.
Correct. Fats, along with waxes and steroids, are examples of this class of biomolecules that are not proteins, nucleic acids, or carbohydrates.
Lipid.
Correct. Lipids possess this property of being repelled away from water.
Hydrophobic.
Correct. 30 on those. Toss-up 18. This man originally recorded a song in which he sang, "I see trees of green, red roses too." He was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame for his recording of "Hello, Dolly." For 10 points, name this jazz trumpeter who sang "What a Wonderful World." Go ahead.
Louis Armstrong?
That is correct for 10.
Sweet.
Yeah, it isn't making a space.
It's like so deep. Like my voice.
Count Collin's poem "Incident," which describes an 8-year-old's experience of racism, was one of the works produced during this cultural movement. For 10 points each, identify this flourishing of African American literature and art that was named after a neighborhood of New York City.
Harlem Renaissance.
Correct. In the poem "Dreams," this leading author of the Harlem Renaissance wrote that if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly.
Langston Hughes.
Correct. The final line of the Hughes poem, Harlem, asks whether a dream deferred does this.
Flies away.
Bounce.
That's the big deal. Prize in the sun.
Explode.
Right there.
So 20 on the books.
Crazy, man. That's a difference.
Toss-up 19. A Dandelion sphere is defined by the intersection of a plane with this shape. Intersections between planes and this shape also define a class of curves that have eccentricities such as hyperbolas and ellipses. For 10 points, name this shape similar to a pyramid but with a circular edge. Go ahead. Correct for 10. Following World War II, Nazi war criminal Joseph Mengele fled to this country. 10 points each. Name the South American country where Adolf Eichmann was captured by Mossad agents in 1960.
Argentina.
Correct. This man led Argentina immediately after World War II, during a period when many Nazis fled to the country. His second wife was called Evita.
Smith.
Bounce.
Che Guevara.
Juan Perón. This Argentine, a Marxist revolutionary and guerrilla tactician who was active in the Cuban Revolution, met with Perón in Spain. Toss-up 20. One character in this play escapes unpleasant social engagements by pretending to visit an imaginary friend named Bunbury. At the end of this play, Jack Worthing discovers that his alias is actually his real name. For 10 points, name this comedy of manners written by Oscar Wilde. No answers? It's The Importance of Being Earnest. So at the end, I have 420 to 375. Sorry? 375, 41.